Appreciate everybody for tuning in. My name is Law Nation, LAW Nation. Subscribe to this channel. We're on multiple platforms. I would love to see you guys comment down below on these 4 topics. Dak Prescott, we're going to have a conversation on that, as well as the Washington team, calling themselves the Washington team. The deadline, the NFLPA is forcing the NFL to come up with a deadline as it relates to the cutbacks on the salary. The NFLPA want the full salary, and the NFL is trying to cut corners. The other option to talk about is the rookies that should report and what we should have as it relates to expectations. First, let's talk about this Dak Prescott. So many rumors and news out there saying that, hey, he's devastated. His dog is gone, Jason Garrett is gone. Let me tell a lot of people, Jason Garrett is a wonderful person, brilliant person. I mean, you can have a lot of negative things that you think you're going to say about Jason Garrett. And then when you meet him, he's a very warm guy. And you can relate to some of his stories. You can really feel what he's talking about. He's brilliant. He's smart. He hung around after practice and before practice with Dak Prescott. He probably taught Dak Prescott a lot as it relates to life outside of football and beyond. Now, here's the situation. When Jason Garrett left the building, it was just not Dak Prescott being shaded in the sense of looking at everything saying, man, this is my coach. He gave me the opportunity and I let him down, right? I didn't play to the best of my ability. That's how he felt. And he probably learned a few things from Jason Garrett as it relates to being even keeled and things like that and beyond, right? But I recall hearing that Jordan Hip Pocket Lewis, he was devastated. He was crying basically that Jason Garrett was kicked out of the building. But sometimes all what you know is all that you know. And that's all that you will feel will be comfortable when you playing within the confines of this system. So that is what's going on with the Jason Garrett and some of the players. Now, rumors are rumors. We don't know who said what. We don't know who pulled the trigger. We just know that it was said. And the reality of it is that nobody loved to see somebody gone. Nobody loved to see somebody lose a job and beyond, right? So we can look at it now. It's water under the bridge. It's all about playing on Sunday, Monday, Thursday nights, and occasionally Saturdays as well. What can this new 2020 team bring to the table, and what Mike McCarthy can show to these young guys, and so that they can build that trust, so that they can build that understanding, so that they can understand that, okay, there's new coaching, there's no favors, there's no sponsors. And on top of that, if I slip up, if I mess up, I may not ever get an opportunity to play for the Dallas Cowboys again. That's what this new coaching staff is all about. And that is why we have terms as it relates to government officials and as well as with the presidency. You don't want somebody to be here for 20 years and 30 years and saying to yourself, how can I ever get out of this rat race, right? How can I ever get out of this situation? And I'm glad the fact that we're now no longer are subject to Jason Garrett. I don't care about these players' feelings. We shouldn't care about these players' feelings. Huh? To be real with it, either you win or you lose, right? And we are all on the aspect, let this team win. But shout out to Jason Garrett, he's gone. And shout out to the people that got to create these storylines to sell tickets or to make clicks. Clickable, so they got to look at all of those things. I hear stories out there saying that, hey, Stephen Jones, he's the real villain, like Jerry Wayne didn't empower him, right? It takes two to tango. The way Dak Prescott is structured, in a sense, he does not negotiate during the season. So it'll be hard for anybody to negotiate a decent deal when you don't negotiate during the season. Now, I will say that the Joneses, they really about protecting that paper, right? So you're really not going to just get in there, walk in there and bust in there and say, okay, this is what we're going to get. No, it don't work that way. Would we like to see Dak Prescott sign to a 4-year deal? Yes. Would Dak Prescott, or should he sign the 5-year deal, whatever they were offering? No. He should always fight for his value. He should always fight for his worth and these sorts of things. Guess what? Newsflash. He's still on his team for the 2020 season. So for those who anti-Dak Prescott, either you're going to jump on this thing and say to yourself, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Let's see where we can work things out. And let's see how we can win in spite of Dak Prescott. And for those who are pro Dak Prescott, sitting there saying, okay, he's the best thing since sliced bread. Give the man an opportunity. Give the man this and give the man that. Guess what? Newsflash, he got it. So I can't be as much fair and balanced as possible with these type of situations. Now, if you're right in the middle, just roll with it then. Just roll with it. Because I know for a fact, I've seen Trent Diffords. I've seen Joe Flacco's, Eli Manning. I've seen quarterbacks with lesser skill sets than Dak Prescott win the Super Bowl. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, right? So it's all about what pieces you can put together and just go forward from there. Even if we look at it like the Ben Roethlisbergers of the world, he wasn't dynamic in any of those Super Bowls, but he knew how to manage the game, or he was in the right place at the right time, right? So that's what majority of the football is all about anyway, baby. You got a CD Lamb. He signed a good deal. We're talking about the, we're just going to switch these subject around. Let's talk about these free agencies. No, I'm sorry. Let's talk about these rookies. That's what I want to talk about. Let's talk about these rookies. CD Lamb, he signed a 4-year deal, $14 million. I'm seeing people's like, hey, shame on the Cowboys. This brother got more money now than Dak Prescott. He was a first-round draft pick, right? And CD should be looking at it like, man, the kid that was drafted before me, Jerry Jeudy, he got $15 million. See, it's all about when you was drafted or what have you, or where you was drafted and what team you went to. And I think that he got an $8 million signing bonus. I'm talking about Jerry Jeudy. I don't think that we have enough remuneration to give our guy, CD Lamb, an $8 million signing bonus. But it just depends on how your team is structured. But getting the money doesn't guarantee you're going to go to the Super Bowl. It might make you feel good. You might say, man, I got money now. I digress. It's about these coaches. What can they do to elevate everything, sell the plan to everyone, and having everybody on this team to buy in? And these rookies out here, they're going to report. They're pushing everything back a few more days. But these rookies, they're going to report, and they're going to do their testings, and then we can see some real one-on-one action, right? Iron sharpen iron, steel sharpen steel. It does. Oh, let me talk about this Washington team. Well, they came out earlier today and they said, okay, we're going to change our name to the Washington team. Washington football team. We're going to remove the other name and we're just going to name it Washington football team. Now, one can argue and say, well, that's basically the Washington no names. So we'll see how all of that flow through the DMV and all this stuff and how they can really work things out being the Washington football team. All I can say is that they still got to play in the NFC East, and we're not just going to sit back and lay down. No, we're going to give them the full flavor, the full funk, and we're going to come right at them. So they better be ready. And trust me, there's going to be multitudes of Washington football team fans still wearing their old Washington football team stuff. And that's just how it goes. But we'll figure this thing out as it relates to the Dallas Cowboys versus them. We're still going to give them all of that heat action. We are. And we coming. So the NFL putting the feet to the fire. Well, the NFLPA putting the feet to the fire as it relates to the NFL. They want a surety as it relates to the type of money that this should happen. And the NFL is saying, okay, we need to know by this Sunday because we can't forecast or we can't budget without this type of money on the table. Now, for those who budget and forecast and put things out there on a spreadsheet or an Excel sheet at this point, or some type of computer situation that they use now, people know that you got to count your costs, right? You got to count your money. You got to make sure you got the projections right so that you can go to, I guess, your advertisers and say, okay, I can put out this amount of money, or we can invest and build this type of stuff with the type of money. But if we don't have X amount of players, well, X amount of fans at the game, or if we can't sell such and such, then we will have to cut costs or we have to cut back on something. And if these players are not willing to budge, then what can we do? Can we meet up and say this? Now, I will say this, and I'm not pro NFL because we know that they are billionaires, right? They made some offers. They made some solutions. Now it's time for the NFLPA to come out and counter. I'm just sick and tired of the NFLPA because I think that they drop the ball more than they do pick it up. I think that when some of the players get suspended, they disappear on some of the players, then they show up on some of the players. Some of the situations as it relates to player injury and beyond, as it relates to getting money back from the NFL or lawsuits, they disappear. The NFLPA. So it's time for them to stop playing and really dig deep into the NFL right now because once again, they got the NFL back to the ropes. They need to hit them where it hurts at and really demand for something because that last CBA that was just signed, trash to me, trash. Players are still getting franchise tag and there's still some unsurety or not really having faith in what the shield can do to them, protected them as it relates to when they retire and beyond, right? There's still some like, hey, areas of ambiguity, basically. So did I cover all of the topics? I hope I did. I'm trying to wrap it up in 10 minutes, but it seemed like I went beyond my time. Post me your thoughts, post me your concerns down below. I just like to tell people once again, do not fall into the traps of the naysayers talking about this particular team. Dak Prescott, he's cool, calm, and collected. You rarely see the